Ready to turn around and see her?
Sure.
All right.
Beautiful.
You look good too.
Yeah.
Looks good.
I can dress up too, see?
Let me see your
The
cufflinks.
cufflinks are good.
He's got custom cufflinks.
Of course he did. Do you think we expected anything less from you?
I saw,
He's got
I
'em
saw
here.
Robin had some too.
Yeah, Robin has them too. They look good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you gave them to me yesterday.
Right now would be too much.
Right now
Yeah,
would be
too much.
Yeah,
We've been crying a little bit.
So, Carly had a major Yeah. Or no, she just had a major.
Got to the West Palm Beach family court and they stopped Yes, it looks good.
You may now stand for the bride. You may now be seated. Welcome everybody to all of Danielle and Ryan's family and friends. They'd like to extend their thanks to all of you for being here today and take a moment to remember those who could no longer be with us. I want to thank everyone too, and especially you two for inviting me to be part of this very special day. Now when I met Danielle and Ryan for the first time, Ryan said to me, "I like a story. Can you tell a story at our wedding?" And I said, "Sure, absolutely. But I knew I had a small challenge, because these are not fictional once upon a time people. They don't want stories that center around this mythical love the world has never seen with nothing but sunshine and rainbows and even like the occasional unicorn. No, they are real, strong, honest people who recognize and respect this gift they have been given. So today, I'm going to tell a story based in truth. A story about a man and woman who are coincidentally named Ryan and Danielle, whose journey is full of ancestral commitment, green nail polish, a pandemic, and this very golf course. Now our story begins with a little bit of history. Stick with me, you're going to see why. So come back with me to the 1800s. Around 1845-46, a man named German Lanterman built, with the help of his brother-in-law, a Youngstown landmark known as Lanterman's Mill. Its original purpose was a saw and grist mill. It kept their town stocked with corn and grain and logs. Today, it still stands as a testament to history and service. Almost exactly 100 years later, in 1945, another local man named Alvin Deering III started a business named Deering & Company to serve the Mahoney Valley steel industry. As the years passed, with his descendants at the helm, it evolved into Deering Compressor and Pumps. Formed from humble local roots, Deering's company continues to stand also as a testament to history and service. So why did I begin this love story with business and history instead of love and romance? Because over the course of time, these two men's families would intersect. Approximately 75 years after the opening of his company, Alvin Deering's great-grandson, a man by the name of Ryan, asked his fiancée, a distant relative of German Lanterman's named Danielle, to marry him on a steel bridge by Lanterman's Mill, an act that began the next generation of history and service. And in the grand tradition of men with great proposal intentions, Ryan almost screwed everything up with the whole engagement by saying to her, to Danielle, whom he was about to take a trip with, I don't want to go to Mexico with my girlfriends. Thinking she would catch on where he was going, but she didn't. And when he saw the look on her face, he quickly followed it with, no, I want to go on a trip with my fiance. No, she had no idea he was planning on this. She had no idea this proposal was coming. As proof, none of her fingernails were even painted, except for one, her ring fingernail. And it was painted green, like a green light signaling go. Now the green color is very fitting for this couple because at first the relationship had a very small yellow light of caution. Why yellow? Well, Danielle and Ryan met at his family business, and anyone who has worked for or with family know it comes with a unique sense of responsibility and expectation. And both loved their jobs. They didn't want to fall for someone at work, so they fought their feelings with friendship. But Ryan, in his own words, felt a gravitational pull toward Danielle, one that could simply not dismiss or ignore. His status of work husband simply wasn't enough, so they chose love and hoped the work could follow. And follow it did, as the yellow light changed to green. They were able to build a relationship as strong as their work ethic, with their combined dedication and drive. They developed a set of guidelines to juggle living, loving, and working together. Guidelines that included taking turns talking, and believing that work should be handled like rubber and love should be handled like glass. They became each other's first choice and challenged each other to work harder, be stronger. And just when our lovely couple had the world in their hands and decided to move in together nice and slow, the world shut down and a pandemic accelerated the whole moving in together green light. But the pandemic was no match for them. They navigated it through it with strength, love, and 2 dogs. And before you knew it, Danielle was golfing on this very golf course with her dad, looking at these steps and saying, just think, Dad, I could be a bride on those steps someday. Now, it seems like a very sweet and innocent comment. However, she did tell me that he messed up his next several holes after she said that. So it may have been strategic on her part as well. But here we are, right where she said she would be. And I think the most important place to end our story is a tag at the beginning. So let's look at the name Deering again. The name of the company where it all began. Deering. It represents work, dedication, service, and commitment. But what's the meaning of the roots? Precious, valuable, noble, beloved, dear. Ooh, there's one line every ceremony. Okay. Now I'm going to start. Okay, here we go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to hear from the actual Ryan and Danielle as they share their vows, and there is a very good chance they're not going to be able to get through these due to lots and lots of crying, as I just started to cry too, because this is, it's so sincere for them, and which is why, in my opinion, crying is very welcome, and I invite you all to join in. I was handed this too. Oh, thanks. So, there we go. They wanted you to have that. But never fear, we have a deal. If neither of them can get through the words that they very carefully wrote, they're going to hand me the mic back, and I will finish for them. Brian, we're going to hear from you first.
The decision to love you has always been crystal clear. No question, no hesitation. I fell in love with your intelligence. Cracked right in the beginning. Your unbelievable drive to accomplish anything you put your mind to, and I never looked back. With you, I learned what love actually is. What I thought was love before you was companionship and friendship. But with you, I learned those are the start, but they don't get you over the finish line. Together, we chose to make commitments that came with great challenges and sacrifices, but the leap we took has only strengthened our bond as time goes on. While it can be challenging getting two very independent people to work together in harmony, I learned that when you're with the right partner, this can come naturally. With our commitment to strong communication, most importantly mutual respect, our independence is a gift rather than a burden. We not only cherish our time together, but we help nurture the hobbies and activities that we do separately. This is an experience I never had before I met you. I am and always will be willing to do whatever I can to support you and be with you at whatever the cost. I promise to never stop trying to win you over and to always be by your side through whatever life brings us, good or bad. I promise to always watch beautiful orange sunsets together, go where you go, and always pick you first. I promise to never stop making you get misty when I tell my stupid jokes and go on my rants. To always pick stuffed crust cheese pizza with extra marinara as my favorite. To always watch one more episode, even though I know you're going to fall asleep in 2 minutes. And to love everything about you unconditionally, even Wes. But most importantly, I always promise to love, respect, trust, protect you, and to never stop practicing my I do's.
Hey, Danielle.
Alright, I'm ready. I'll do my best.
You will do it.
You did great. Okay. Will you hold this?
Yes,
Thank you. You're gonna hold that? Yeah. Okay. Ryan, there are so many things that I love about you. It's impossible to pick one or two things. When I first met you, I was attracted to your incredible work ethic and your dedication to your company. Then I discovered you were selfless. You would do anything for anyone. Let's not forget how funny you are. You are so witty, no matter the situation, and always quick with a comeback. Good, bad, ugly, or funny. You can make me laugh until I cry. Finally, your patience. Even when you have a flat tire, you are never in a rush. You are always calm, and I am grateful for this, because your patience led you to wait for me in our love. I am most proud of the time that we dedicate to us. We look to the future, and we keep each other as our focus. We prioritize what makes us happy, and we support each other no matter the situation. This is not a trivial afterthought. We choose to put each other first. Loving you is effortless, because without a doubt, it's true love. I promise to value every single moment I spend with you. I promise to go where you go and miss you when we're not with each other. I promise to take the foil off the sour cream and throw it away. Watch New Girl with you thousands of times. leave you random love notes to remind you of how much I love you, and always let you name the dogs. I promise to always tell you everything, always support you, and I promise you, my soulmate, you are the only one I'll ever love.
Little thing right there. Okay.
Now it's time for the I do's. Do you, Ryan, take Danielle to be your wife?
I do.
No, do you, Danielle, take Ryan to be your husband?
I do.
You may now kiss your bride. Sorry, static. Okay, Danielle and Ryan would like all immediate family members to please stay seated for pictures. But as soon as the wedding party exits, they would like to invite the rest of the group to please go right upstairs for cocktail hour, and they will join you shortly to continue their celebration. But most importantly, before we leave, please allow me to introduce to you Ryan and Danielle Wilson.
fun together. But it's time to get down to business and bring in the bridal party. So first, introducing the father of the groom, Doug and Wendy Wilson. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be followed by the mother of the groom, Becky and Robin Wall. They're followed by mother and brothers of the bride, Jackie, Austin, and Dylan Linderman. Give it up for them, guys. Now the father of the bride, George Linderman and Sally. Come on in now. Give it up for them. And now for the fabulous bridal party, Jordan, Aaron, Dana, Matt, Kristen, Ray, Cody, Vicky, Kelly, Ben, Michelle, Matt, Sierra, and Melissa. Give it up and the bridal party on! Now, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the matron of honor, Ashley, escorted by Matt. Followed by the maid of honor, Alyssa, with the best man, Josh. Give it up for y'all. And now, for the first time ever, please put your hands together, stand up, make some noise for Mr. and Mrs. Ryan and Danielle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the first dance. All the boats I've missed, all the hell I've caused, all the lips I've kissed, all the love I've lost. I got kicked around, I've been black and blue, on my way to you. All the stars I've seen, all the songs I've sung, all the beers I've drank, all the damage done. I was just passing time, I was just passing through, on my way to you. Got the radio up, sun is going down. I'll make a left at the bank, and I'll head straight through town. So baby, put on my dress, a little sweet perfume, 'cause I'm on my way to you. books I've missed, all the hell I've gone, all the links I've missed, all the love I've lost. I thank God for that. Guess He always knew was on my way to you. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen, please. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson.
Hello, everybody. Everybody ready? Hi, Ryan. So Ryan and Danielle have done an amazing job creating today. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's just one little glimpse into what their life is going to be like. So as Ryan's mom, and you know that he is the total joy of my life, the other joy has to stand here with me and give me moral support. The absolute joy of my life. I get to welcome you all to this great day. Marriage definitely joins families. So the Beals and the Lantermans and the Wilsons and the Walls and this giant extended Deering family and all of our friends, we totally welcome you here today. We're so thrilled that you're with us. There are more than a few people in this room that refer to Ryan as our son. I have shared him with a lot of people, and a lot of people have influenced his life. He is loved by many, and seeing him today with Danielle, I know how happy he is, and that makes this day perfect. So my job was to tell you one thing about Ryan. That was pretty hard to do. Some of it's PG, but so I have picked this. So you Poland grads out there, how many of you remember the writing assignment for Mrs. Angelo, and I think it was 8th grade? You wrote personal essays for Mrs. Angelo's English class. And when Ryan brought this home to me, it was my first glimpse into the man that he would become. And it goes like this. I was born in the year of the ox. My parents are business people, a life made of work. My father and my grandmother gave me my name by way of agreement. My father told me all about helpful things I did not know. My mother dressed me in clothes, always the ones that I wanted. My grandmother told me I would be a fighter, a leader, a replica of my uncles. I will leave my parents' home by way of college and business. I am a universe, collector of pictures, people, and matchbooks. My grandma says I have evolved from my uncle. I have a craving for beaches and fancy cars. So Ryan and Danielle, you're going to write the sequel together. And I cannot wait. So cheers. Cheers to love and happiness, to finding your soulmate. Where'd my soulmate go? To finding your soulmate, to the perfect day, and to the best days that are ahead. So, thank you for being here with us.
Can we bow our heads, please? Heavenly Father, we are here today in the uniting of Ryan and Danielle. Sorry. May the journey in life be filled with love, faith, and trust, not just in one another, but in God. And may that journey be a long, happy, and healthy one. Bless all that sit at these tables tonight, and for many others in our lives. Also, Lord, we ask for special blessings for the ones that are sitting around your table. Let them know that they still live on within us. Bless this food that it may strengthen and nourish our bodies, and the hands have prepared it. In your name we pray, today and always. Amen.
I told him, I said, do I have a mic that I can walk around and do things with? He's like, oh no, you can't do that. So, we'll try to do the best out of this. But I want to welcome everybody here, just like Becky did. I'm George. Some of you may know me as Chicken. Some may know me as Chicken George, Uncle Chicken. Okay, and then I don't want to know what the rest of you call me, so we'll just keep that right out there. But when Danielle had asked me, or not asked me, because Danielle doesn't ask, when Danielle had told me that this is something that I would have to do at the reception, I'm like, are you sure? Okay, you want your dad to give a speech? I'm a teacher and I haven't been in school for 2 months, so, I got a lot to say. So, she said, well, I'd rather you, Dad, if you gave the speech, you don't have a lot of time, and, because you are a teacher, this should be pretty easy for you. Well, that was pretty good advice. So I'm going to kind of run with that. Now, some of my teacher friends are here, but I am a 5th and 6th grade teacher. So for about the next 12, 15 minutes, could you guys please act like 5th and 6th grade students? I've been assured by some people out there that that's not going to be a hard thing for you to do. So at this time, because, you are 5th and 6th grade students, I think we need to go over a couple of the rules, okay, during this speech. Let's talk about restroom breaks, okay? Because first of all, you should have went by now, because when you come in, you should go to the restroom. You shouldn't have to ask to go to the restroom. But if you do have to get a restroom break or get a drink, could you just kind of please do it quietly? There's a sign-out restroom sheet right over there. You have 3 minutes, and please make your way back quietly to your seat. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is there's no talking. There's no talking. I'm going to tell a story today. I'm going to tell a story about Danielle and Ryan from my perspective. And I know that makes Ryan very nervous. Okay, so if you're not listening and you might miss out on that a little bit, I just want to make sure, that there's no talking. And in middle school, probably the biggest rule is there's no touching. Okay, no touching, keep your feet on the floor, okay, and just pay attention. Not saying there's going to be a quiz afterwards, but, you never know. You never know. Your first assignment is to make sure your glasses are full. So if you don't have that, once again, if you need to go get a drink, remember, quietly, don't interrupt anybody, but you're gonna need a full glass because I'm actually gonna give 3 toasts up here because I'm a Landerman and we generally don't follow rules a lot, so we just kind of make them up as we go. So you're gonna need a nice full glass of something to drink before you do that. Now I have my 2 sons up here for moral support, but also to help me out on a couple of things. They have no idea why they're standing here. So this is going to be really interesting, okay, when we get to certain parts of my talk, speech, toast, whatever you want to talk about. The first person that I want to toast is Ryan, my new son-in-law, my birthday buddy. We share the same birthday, and we just celebrated. He celebrated his 37th birthday, and mine was a few more than that. But we had a really good time with it, and to be honest with you, since I've known Ryan, every time I've been with Ryan, we've had a pretty good time, right? But I don't think that Ryan really knows this, because I don't think I really told him. But the first time I met Ryan, he wasn't even there. Danielle had just started working at Deering, and being in her early 20s, mid-20s, she would, go out to the bars during the week and on the weekends, and, and she would come to work, afterwards. And she told me the one time, she's like, Dad, there's this guy in the office, Ryan. And he kind of harasses me about going out and how late were you out? How long were you out? When did you come in? Are you okay to work today? Basically busting her balls about going out. So I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? I like this guy already. Haven't even met him. I like him. He seems like he has a really good sense of humor. So a couple months went by, maybe 2-3 months, and Danielle says to me, Dad, she was working at Deering. She says, Deering is having a party at the lake house. Now, I can't remember if it was Memorial Day, it was 4th of July or something, and she said, they would really like to meet you. I'm like, all right, well, what have you been telling them about me that they really want to meet me? She goes, no, they really just want to meet you. So, I'm not one to pass up a party. So, we went out to the lake house. Danielle and I went out together. I met Becky and Robin, and, right away, I was so impressed. They made me feel like I was welcome there. They showed me around the whole place. We went down to the docks and everything. And then I met Ryan. And I don't know if he remembers this or not, but when I met Ryan at the party, he was in his bare feet, he was playing Beersby, and he had a bush light in his hand. And at the same time, he was cooking something on a spit. It was either a brisket or something like that was being cooked on a spit. Once again, I'm thinking, wow, I like this guy. I really like this guy. Well, quite a time went by. I want to say maybe a year, maybe 8 months. And my daughter had got this really bright idea that it would be good to buy the house next to her dad. Now, what 24, 25-year-old wants to buy a house next to their dad? Well, I loved it. I loved it, but it was. So, I kind of got in a habit of just kind of popping in. I'd knock once, take the dog out, and kind of come in and see how she was doing. And it didn't really matter what cars were there because Vicky was living with her, so there was kind of cars there all the time. So I just remember this time that I walked in, I knocked on the door, walked in, and Wesley, jumping all over me and everything. And there was another dog in there, but there was also this young man sitting at the table. And we kind of had some small talk, and kind of went back and forth. And being the good dad that I am, I kind of said, okay, I'm going to leave. You guys have a good doggy date, whatever you're doing, and I'm going to get out. So Danielle texted me, or she called me later on that day, and she goes, Dad, do you remember who that was? And I'm like, he was really nice. He looked familiar. He goes, that was Ryan. That was Ryan Wilson. But you can't tell anybody that he was here. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, right now we're just kind of doing doggy dates and trying to figure out, we really don't want anybody at work to know, okay, that we're kind of seeing each other. And I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. So who am I going to tell anyways? So, I got kind of used to, it's kind of hard to tell when Ryan was at her house because Ryan has like 17 different vehicles, so it was really hard to tell. So I would kind of like scope it out and see who was there. But I do remember the one time that I came home And this is when I realized that Ryan was right for us. When I came home, Danielle had texted me earlier in the day. She said, Dad, she goes, I think something's wrong with the sump pump. You know, I got water in the basement. And when you come home, could you fix it? Well, what am I going to say? Of course. So I practiced that night. I came home, pulling in the driveway, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what tools do I need to take over? What am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to go to Home Depot. As soon as I pull in the driveway, here comes Ryan, walking across the lawn between our house with the sump pump in his hand and all the tools. And I was like, dude, did you change the sump pump? Oh, piece of cake. Piece of cake. We went and got it. It's all done. It's good to go. And at that time, I pretty much knew that if Danielle didn't marry Ryan, I was going to. So anybody who knows Ryan knows that that's exactly the person that he is. He will do anything for anybody. And I appreciate that about you, Ryan. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for loving my daughter unconditionally. Anybody who was at the ceremony today could see that. I want to thank you for putting a smile on her face every single time. I want to thank you for just being her everything. You're her prince. You're her knight in shining armor. And she kissed some frogs, so she deserves a knight in shining armor. But on behalf of the Ruggierios and the Beals and the Walkovecks, some of you might not know who these people are, and the Lantermans and the Herbs, we would like to welcome you to our family. Everybody, I don't have a glass to toast with. Give me a beer, hurry up. Nah, I don't want that. Right there. You can drink that. Oh, thank you. To Ryan Wilson, thank you. Cheers. Well said. Props. Oh, yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. So the second part of my story is about my lovely daughter, Danielle. You may know her as Dee. I call her Danielle-ish. Okay, we have a lot of different names that we call each other. But unlike Ryan, she was definitely there the first time I met her. She was definitely there. When they laid her on the table in the operating room, and I looked at her and how beautiful, how precious, and how pissed off she really was, okay, to not be in there any longer. I said to myself, am I ready for this? Am I ready for this? I'm still asking myself, am I ready for this? So, as I looked at Danielle and I thought back to my own father and what kind of a father he was to me. And I don't remember him telling me all the different things that I would have to do to be a father. So I kind of want to go through the story of Danielle and all the things that her and I have gone through all of these years. Well, fathers, you know, when you first get that baby at home, you're kind of not prepared for those first couple of years. So you have to be prepared. So a gas mask is something that every father should have. Because those first few years, it's hard to believe that such things can come out of such a small child. But they did. They did. Now, that doesn't last long. It was kind of fun, okay? But times changed, and Danielle and I moved on. As she became a toddler, it became very apparent to her mother and I that Danielle did not like to be alone. She did not like to be alone when she went to bed. She did not like to be alone when she was playing. She always wanted somebody to be there. And that's when I realized that my next role in her life was going to be play date daddy. So she always wanted somebody that she could play with. Now, Danielle, we had a blast. We would play Barbies, we would play dress up, we would do tea parties. But Danielle was always known in my family as the princess. Okay, so she was the one that always had the crown. So she always needed somebody to be around, and it was either myself or her mom or the grandparents, but we always enjoyed playing with Danielle. It was a lot of fun. It didn't last very long, and then things moved on. As Danielle headed off to school, actually very reluctantly, you remember your first day getting on the school bus? Not good, okay? I wasn't there, okay, but I got the report that it was not good. But she never really complained about school. She enjoyed going, okay? She just didn't like being separated from us. So at that point, as she entered school, I realized, you know, when she started coming home and she would have homework, that I was actually, my next role was I was, you know, pretty solid with, because I'm a teacher, I'm a math teacher, and one of Danielle's most favorite subjects is not math. Okay, so I became math teacher daddy. So we would sit at the table and we would do our facts and we would do all of our math stuff together, and I'm sure many times she was like, she hated it. I know that she did. As a matter of fact, remember the time we took the flashcards on vacation with us? And you don't remember that? We took flashcards on vacation and I made her practice her flashcards. But, and those of you, you know now, parents out there who had to work with their kids during COVID, who's the worst kids to work with? Your own, okay? And that's kind of what Danielle and I, but we had a lot of fun. We did an invention together, remember the debooter? Okay, we did a few things with the science fair. Okay, so even though it was a struggle, okay, we did get through it. It didn't last long, okay, and we moved on. So now we enter those teen years, and she hasn't changed much as far as she does not like to be alone. So she liked to have parties. Her birthday is right around Halloween, so we would have Halloween parties. We got a pool, so we would have pool parties. It just seemed like she always wanted to have parties. Well, as you get into your teen years, who starts showing up at the parties? Boys start showing up at the party. So at that point, I realized something had changed and I need to do something about it. And that's when I became police officer daddy. Now, I'm sure it wasn't one of her favorite roles, but it sure was for me. Because when she had the parties and I would go out and kind of patrol around the outside to make sure there was no beer in the woods, okay, that the boys were behaved, you know, and, you know, I would talk to the boys in a fairly gentle tone, you know, to tell them, you know, that, you know, I'm glad you're here, okay, just stay away from my daughter. Okay, that was kind of my whole tone to them. So being police officer daddy, you know, it lasted a little bit longer because, you know, going through your teens, I had to make sure that, you know, she got all the way through her teens before I changed roles. But that was fun. Things changed, and we moved on. After graduating from high school, Danielle went to college. As she was going through college, she worked many jobs. She worked lots of jobs. I'm very proud of her. I've heard it said many times here today about her work ethic. She did many kinds of jobs, but one particular job that she took was at a bar named Shakers. Now, we have some people from here who are from Shakers, and I would expect because we spent a lot of time at Shakers. Shakers just happened to be on my way home from school. So it just so happened every Friday that I would pull in, have a few drinks. My daughter was the bartender. I became really good friends with a lot of people from Shakers. And at that time, I had realized, wow, my role has changed. I became party daddy. And that is a role that I relish a lot, is being party daddy. Danielle and I, we went to Cleveland Browns games. We would go hang out at the bar. And the best part was when she would be out, she would call me and say, hey, Dad, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just laying around. I know, but all these guys want you to come down. So I just became known as Danielle's dad, you know, when we were going out and we were going and having a good time. But that didn't last very long because, you know, things moved on, things changed, and we moved on. And then, like I said, she decided to buy the house next door. The house next door is for sale. And she said, Dad, the house next door is for sale. So we went through the whole process of we bought a house. It was a nice little ranch house. And like I said, I was excited, and it seemed like she was excited, have the house next door. Well, when you live next to your daughter and you're next door, the new role came out. I became construction worker daddy because things needed to be done around that house. We needed to paint, we needed to do landscaping, we needed to do all kind of things inside and outside. We even emptied an oil tank together. Remember that? Yes. Okay, so having her next door didn't last very long. Times changed and we moved on. Like I said, she met Ryan, and she fell in love, and then she moved away. So I got to sit back and think of all the times and all the things, Danielle, that we have gone through. We've been through a lot. And now I get to wear my proud of my freaking daughter daddy hat. That is my new hat, and I intend on wearing this for a very, very long time because I know that she has somebody that's going to take care of her. Not that I won't be there, not that I won't be around, but I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of the woman that she's become. I'm so proud of how driven she is. I'm so proud of what a great person she is. And Danielle, I love you to death, and this toast is for you. This is my daughter, Danielle. So that's 2 out of 3. And I think we know where this last one's going, because most of you in attendance here were there when you met Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. You met them out on the lawn today. And this is just the short part of my speech, but I am so happy for both of them. I am so very, very happy. I don't know what my role will be in the future, but just sitting back and watching them and how much they love each other and the speeches they made for each other today, I cried. I cried for each one of them. And darn it, Ryan, you made me cry twice. Okay, so I just love these two so much, and I wish them the most luck. And I can't wait to see what the next chapter holds. To Mr. and Mrs. Wilson.
Okay, well, it's on the cell phone, so I'm gonna be staring at the phone, and I'm sorry for that. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful time celebrating these two lovebirds, Ryan and Danielle. Congratulations. I want to start off by introducing the most important people here tonight. We know them, we love them, the bartenders. For any of those I haven't gotten the chance to meet tonight, I'm Elissa. Danielle and I have known each other since we were in elementary school. I'm gonna get emotional. Okay. I honestly thought that the most stressful part of being Danielle's maid of honor was gonna be this speech. But one of the hardest things was actually not being around for all of the most beautiful moments of her engagement. Sorry. Receiving the FaceTime call that Ryan finally proposed, seeing her try her dress on through the iPhone screen, and seeing all of the beautiful women enjoy the bachelorette party while I was away on military leave. Danielle's the type of friend that no matter how much time spent apart from one another, we can seemingly pick up right where we left off from. And friends like that are far and few in between. I need a breath. However, I'm just more than grateful to be here tonight. Danielle has been there for me through all of my highs and the lowest of the lows, and is still somehow decided to love me through all of them. She has been my best friend, my therapist, my pen pal, and a bad influence when needed. For almost the last 8 years of our adult life, we've lived in completely different continents and still continue to be the best of friends. She used to constantly write me letters in basic training and send me care packages in all of the different countries that I've lived in. And although we did not live in the same country, we still made time to slow down and catch up on each other's lives consistently. It has been some of the hardest years being away from my bestest friend, and even harder not being able to be here to watch all of the beautiful memories that Ryan and her have been making together. I remember coming home and meeting Ryan for the first time, and I just saw in his eyes that Danielle was going to be his forever person. And I honestly couldn't be more thankful for Ryan and his family for the amount of happiness and love that you bring into her life. To Ryan, thank you for loving her the way that she deserves. It's so easy to see that you two are just crazy about each other, and I'm honored to call you both my friends. I can't wait to see all of the different types of adventures that you will get up to in the next few years, and hopefully make me an Auntie Elissa. I'm wishing you the best of both a lifetime of happiness.
I won't look at you or else I'll cry, so. Hi everyone, my name is Ashley and I'm Danielle's matron of honor. Dee and I met each other in college when we were training to work at a bank and were assigned to the same branch. We both equally disliked the job, so much so that when I put in my 2-week notice, Dee put hers in a week later. But ever since then, she's remained a constant in my life. She's the most caring, thoughtful, determined, and organized person I know. We've been there for each other through the highs and lows of life, and even when we didn't see each other for periods of time, we picked right up and didn't miss a beat. I actually remember the first day Danielle hung out with Ryan. If you know Dee, she is very headstrong, and if she has her mind set to something, she does it and she shows up. On that particular day, we had plans to go to the gym together. To my surprise, she texted me to cancel because she was hanging out with someone. I, for one, was happy because that meant I was not going to the gym that day. But it also got me thinking that this person must really have her attention for her to not show up to something. The first time I met Ryan, I knew he was Dee's person. From carving pumpkins at girls' night with us, going whitewater rafting and gracefully falling out of the raft, tubing down the Mohican River and countless date nights, Ryan has always showed up for Dee like she shows up for everyone she loves. And for that, I'm very thankful. So before I get emotional, like Dee knows that I am, if everybody could raise their glasses to toast the new Mr. and Mrs. Wilson and wish them a lifetime of happiness together.
All right, well, George basically said everything I was going to say. So, but no, honestly, I could stand up here all night and talk about Ryan. But there's one story I do want to tell that meant a lot to me because it shows the kind of person that he is. So I'm basically going to start with this text message, how we started. Yeah. Last February, or this February actually, he said, "Hi, buddy. Dee said she spotted you at the Cavs game last night. Way to bring home the W." Because obviously he knows that whatever I do while watching a game affects every outcome of every Cleveland Indians or Cavs game. So I said, "Wait, why didn't she say hi?" And he said, "LOL," which I'm surprised you actually knew what it meant. "Spotted on the internets," which is his version for saying social media. But she wasn't there. So he asked me, "What zip code are you going to be in on Sunday?" And I texted him back and I said, "I can be wherever you want me to be. I can be in Youngstown, I can be where I can be in, but I'll be in Columbus." He said, I'm going to stop through." And I said, "Okay." So Sunday comes and he stops in. And the first thing I say to him is, where are you stopping through to? And he said to me, I'm not stopping through, I came to see you. Which meant a ton to me. So then he proceeds to give me this bag, and in the bag was a card, but then it was also a cigar holder that said best man. Which my immediate response was, did I get the right bag? Only because if you look at everybody sitting over there in the groom's party, they can literally all be standing where I'm at right now. We have such a tight group of friends that no matter if you see them today, tomorrow, 3 months from now, 5 years from now, it's like we never left. But I'm very honored to be here. And now on to the lovely bride. For those who don't know, actually, Danielle and I knew each other way before Ryan knew each other. Her great-grandma B used to actually babysit me, my sister, my brother who's not here, but our cousins and everything. And that family is amazing. And I will say, I haven't seen a lot of you in 20 years, but you look the exact same. And the Wilson family, Ryan's, your family, everybody knows they all look great. All right, so where was I going next? Okay. So I know B is looking down on you right now with a smile on her face as she's eating her fish sticks, her SpaghettiOs, and if you finish all that, you'll get a ho-ho, B. But I love your family, you guys are awesome. So Thomas Jefferson once said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How did he know to put the words pursuit in there? I've known you for 30 years, 3 decades. I went to art school, but I did the math, it actually checks out. But I've known you for 30 years. You've always been in that pursuit of happiness. And Danielle, 3.5 years ago, something changed. And I have never seen him as happy as he is now. So whatever you're doing, all I ask is that you keep doing it. And on that note, raise your glass. Cheers. Love you too.
Right now, guys, we're gonna get into the dances. I would like to call George, the chicken man, up to the floor for the father-daughter dance. Come on, guys, clap along. Just kidding, man. That was just for George. hands together for them, please. And thank you guys for joining them as they play, please. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ryan and his mom, Becky. Great job, guys. The song is by request of the bride and groom.
Here we go. Where's Ashley? Yeah.
I'm gonna need someone to help me. I'm gonna need someone who cares. I'm gonna need someone to hold me down. I'm gonna need somebody's hand. I'm gonna ride and shake my body. I'm so moving down my head. I'm gonna give myself the ashes of you, and nobody is gonna give a damn. Son of a bitch, give me a drink. One more night, set me free. Son of a bitch, if I can't get free, I'm gonna drink my love away. Now for 17 years I'm going down back, and for 17 more they'll bury me. Now somebody please just hold it down, or somebody bring me a goddamn drink. Son of a bitch, give me a drink. One more night, step in me. Son of a bitch, if I can't get free, I'm gonna drink my love away. Oh, 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 my hands are shaking, bugs are crawling all over me. My hands are shaking, knees are crazy, bugs are crawling all over me. My hands shaking, ooh baby, bugs are crawling all over me. My hands shaking, oh baby, bugs are crawling all over me. Come on. Son of a bitch, give me a drink. One more night, step in me. Son of a bitch, if I can't get free, I'm gonna drink my life away. Son of a bitch, give me a drink. One more night, step in me. Son of a bitch, if I can't get free, I'm gonna drink my life away. Oh, 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 oh. Give it up for Ronnie, Danielle, y'all. We love you kids, man. Oh, 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 well done, everyone. Congratulations, you two. that's nice. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la- You guys are fucking beautiful. My God. Nice job, everybody. You guys rock, man. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll come over early in the morning. I'm like a heat wave without a warning. When I touch you, my heart begins to flutter. 'Cause you're smooth and creamy, yeah, like peanut butter. Girl, I wanna lay you down. Like a love river. Oh, baby, the postman is about to deliver. Cook you up some dinner, ha, a little roster, rhythm is the music, a little roster, yeah. I wanna lay you down. Oh, yeah. Girl, I wanna lay you down. Oh, baby. Oh, need your love. Woo. I said I want your love. I said I need your love. I said I want your love. I said I need your love. Alright, blow out the lights, blow out the candles, wrap your arms around my love handles. They say that passion may not always endure, but these feelings that I have for you are burning up my world. Oh, yeah. you very much, y'all. Used to spend my nights out in the ballroom. Liquor was the only love that I know. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottle. Got me ready from being super gone. You're as smooth, says you instead. You're as sweet, as strong and wide. You're as warm. I'll stay strong on your love all the time. I look for love in all the same old places. Found the bottom of the bottle's always dry. But when you poured out your heart, I couldn't waste it. 'Cause there's nothing like your love to get me high. Oh, you're smooth, still a sweet. Oh, it's sweet, strong. I'll stay strong on your love all the time. Tennessee whiskey, oh, it's sweet, strawberry wine. Oh, it's warm, it's glad the brandy. Honey, I'll stay strong on your love all the time. Stay strong, I'm your love all the time. You're sweet, Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey. You're sweet, Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey. Thank you so much. Well done, everyone. Well done. Weezer Blue album. The song's called Say It Ain't So, y'all. Somebody's honey is drowning my icebox. Somebody's cold one is giving me chills. Guess I'll just close my eyes. Oh yeah. All right. Flip on a telly, that's only Jimmy. Something is bubbling in my eyes. The bottle is ready to roll. Say it ain't so. The joke is a heartbreaker. Strictly right, never walking in the streets, leaving me alone. She knows a woman's place, running out at a moment. All over town, that's good too. I got a woman all over town, that's good to me. Don't you know it's alright? Don't you know it's alright? She's alright now. Don't you know it's alright? 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 Thank you so much, Danielle, Ryan, we love you guys. Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, let's go!